coming to you live from wherever. It's the Ticket Booth Podcast.
Hello, everyone! Welcome to today's very early edition of the Ticket Booth Podcast. I am your host, Brian Benson. Who the fuck we got here?
Minecraft Monopoly. No, I'm George Jarrett. I'm this guy who uploads shitpost memes and sometimes video essays to his YouTube channel.
And Minecraft Let's Plays.
I only did that because Bohemian Rhapsody won Best Editing.
Do it more often for their quality.
Which
Quality content.
literally all I did in that Minecraft Let's Play was burn a cross.
What? I did not watch that.
I'm not kidding. And I put on iron armor too.
Jesus
What
Christ.
George, I think you need some help.
I'm Adam or Rocket, whatever. That's kind of all you need to know about me.
Last guy.
Alright. I'm Krimes, aka Mark, aka Big Dick Daddy Krimes. To Discord people. They have me as Poppy Krimes, actually. I'm in this server, which is called Gremlin Gang. And they all have, like, an adjective, then Gremlin. And for a couple months, I was Poppy Gremlin. So that was my biggest achievement.
Can I call you
This
Poppy
right now.
Gremlin from now on?
Go for it. Because Gremlins 2 is masterpiece. Let's be honest here.
Okay, so we have a couple topics for today. Some older topics, but you know what? We're gonna talk about them anyway. So the first topic, do you guys want to talk about Captain Marvel or us first? Let's do Captain Marvel. Okay, so first topic is Marvel Studios' latest film that has definitely got some people talking. That is Captain Marvel.
I actually really hated it, and I think it has to go with just how not even just how bland it is. Like, there's a lot of Marvel movies that are just kind of bland and boring. I just find an issue with it when it becomes incredibly incomprehensible. Where in one of the most laziest pieces of storytelling usage I've seen this year, and it's probably going to be the laziest, is how they just portray Brie Larson's backstory as a whole. Where it's like, oh, yeah, this shit's happening, and then, every now and then we'll cut to, her past or some shit, and then this will happen, and she'll be like, what? I don't remember that. And then the people will be like, oh, yeah, this is what happened. And she's like, what? I don't remember that either. Except it's not even, that. It's just her going, what? What? And I hate how Marvel characters, especially, have just kind of turned into... They've had this kind of Iron Man default phase, where it's because of the success of a kind of snarky superhero, every superhero is now snarky and sarcastic, and it's it adds to a complete lack of kind of overall feeling of consequence between the characters' actions. And I mean, Infinity War actually evens that out. It feels there's actual real consequences to these kind of outlandish characters, but with Captain Marvel being the kind of standalone film that it is, it just doesn't work in itself.
Yeah, that's actually fair. I would actually agree with that.
You think that they apply those same real world consequences to Endgame? You think that Captain Marvel would be better in that movie than she was in her own movie then?
I definitely think that. There is a lot of room for improvement within her character. I think they did a really bad job kind of setting her up, but I do think that there are definitely ways that she can improve as a character and as a performance. Because I thought Brie Larson was uncharismatic as shit, and I feel like that's kind of the selling point of these superhero movies now. It's just oh, look at Thor being an idiot, saying things that aren't really real, or fucking Iron Man just being Iron Man. It just there's a character that's sold. There's an idea, a persona that's sold with the character. With Brie Larson, it felt like a wall.
That's the same complaint I have with the vast majority of the characters in Black Panther, is that none of them are interesting at all. I don't care about any of them.
I liked Killmonger.
I liked, I liked T'Challa himself.
Yeah. Killmonger was probably the only character who was actually good. Shuri had no character. His mom is only in it for 10 minutes. T'Challa himself is not a very interesting character. He doesn't go through a lot of change.
I mean, his father died, and that's about it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I find it as a whole, it's super unfunctional. In a post-Infinity War kind of stasis for superhero films, it feels like such a step back. Like, especially, I think all the films post Infinity War, like Ant-Man and the Wasp,
which was bad.
fucking that was bad. And then fucking Captain Marvel just was like it didn't really need to be here. Like, especially with how they told the story, it just felt so unnecessary.
I mean, you could have a point to saying of Captain Marvel's character to Endgame. I mean, it also had a point in terms of how much it means to win, which is awesome, obviously. But I mean, as a movie, yeah, it's just a typical superhero movie, definitely.
Yeah, but let's be honest here. Like, if you wanted to tell her backstory and everything the way you told it in this film, you literally could have done that in Endgame. You could literally put together, you could screwball all of her little flashbacks and place them through Endgame and have her kind of figure it out while she's having to be thrust into a situation.
I mean, Endgame's already 3 hours anyway, so
yeah,
you might as well.
What's the point in adding just another extra 20 minutes dedicated to the first female superhero for Marvel?
Yeah, I was gonna say Black Widow, but
is she a superhero?
There's a Black Widow movie coming out, and apparently Rachel Weisz is going to be involved in it, and I'm like...
Rachel Weisz, directed by Adam McKay.
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Anyway, Mark, what are your final thoughts on Captain Marvel, or what's your rating, or whatever?
Just explain
I think I gave it a 3, because I remember being super annoyed by it. I felt like, in a way, I feel there's people who are going to enjoy it because it's a bit similar to Top Gun in a way, and I know a lot of people actually like Top Gun. There's this kind of comparison.
That's like my mom's favorite movie.
Just early, kind of in the film when she's just the pilot, and it's like this super blatant oh, they're racing, and it's like, you're a woman, you can't be as good as me because you're a woman. Oh. I was like, oh my god, that's horrible. I was cringing so bad.
I watched the Blind West review on it, and there was something that I've seen the movie twice, and I didn't even catch this. Wasn't there one part where one of the sexist guys is like, there's a reason why they call us the cockpit.
The cockpit. There's a reason they call it the cockpit. I was like, yo.
Oh.
I don't think I cringed.
Oh my god,
I didn't cringe.
That scene was just awful.
Awful.
That was a horrible line.
What made you cringe more, that or the What Are Those joke in Black Panther?
Honestly, the What Are Those joke was just groaning. I think the cockpit was just oh my god, that's horrible.
It really is horrible. The writing of the sexism in this movie is so
it's so cartoonish.
It was fucking hilarious how over the top and cartoonish it was. It doesn't feel like a real movie.
That's the thing. Compare the sexism in Captain Marvel to the sexism in Under the Silver Lake.
You mean the sexist undertones?
Not even. It's not really sexist undertones. It's more just there. It's blatant. It's there. With Under the Silver Lake, the sexist undertones, or the sexism is very true, but it's very true to the situation, or just not even the situation, the setting of Hollywood and how it kind of just treats women. I just feel you could have done definitely way better with military, how there's this kind of integration of women finally happening, and then it's also no, you really shouldn't be here. But I feel like it could have been done way more subtly and way more effective to make it sound feel real. Anyways, Captain Marvel, 3 out of.
Ernie's about to commit a hate crime.
What?
Ernie's about to commit.
I gave it a 2 out of 10.
Yeah, exactly. What?
Oh shit! I hated this way more than I genuinely forgot this, so I can't.
Yeah.
I'll stick with my 2 out of 10. I guess.
Mark, is there anything positive you can say about it? Is there anything you can give a half star?
It wasn't it just wasn't god awful. It was just awful.
Okay, cool. Okay, so Captain Marvel is a movie that has a ton of talk around it. It's a movie. That's what I said about it first. It's a movie. It was filmed. There were people in it.
It was edited, scored, marketed.
Okay, so it's a movie that's got everyone talking with positive or negative. It's a movie that has inspired a lot of people, which is awesome. We need more strong female characters, and in movies nowadays. I know that's been said, but yeah. And the movie itself is fine. It's fine. I didn't hate it the same way that Mark did. In fact, I'd say I somewhat enjoyed it. I have shit opinions. But at the same time, I also didn't find it to be amazing. But at the same time, it's not because, like, it's not like I want to hate so much. It's like, I think my biggest problem and why I probably didn't, like, rank it to be any higher than a 6 out of 10 is the fact how, this isn't against the movie itself, it's just my flaws in the movie are the same flaws I have with a lot of MCU movies. Or my biggest flaw is that it is a typical superhero movie. Like, there isn't much really that really distinguishes itself. It's not really like I'm wanting to just like say that it's weaker than the rest of them. It's just more so that at the same time, there isn't enough in this movie that really feels like it distinguishes itself. It's just how do I want to put this? It's like really a typical origin story, definitely. And the biggest problem is that the main character was definitely not really written enough. Carol Danvers doesn't really have a character to her, and her personality was pretty inconsistent. Sometimes she's like a snarky brat, sometimes she's just like a strong, independent woman. Sometimes she's just like, she has like 3 different personalities. She's like, oh my god, she's basically James McAvoy in Split, except. Well,
it's more of a problem, and it's unintentional.
I know, but I know. I get it. It's she has like more multiple personality disorders than fucking James McAvoy Split. I'm worried.
And she looks like a fucking Roblox character. What is this?
Okay, just imagine the fucking scene set to No Doubt later on in the movie, but in Roblox. I want them to remake that scene in Roblox. Fucking, you know what? I'll do it if I can get one. Anyway. The action was definitely good. I can't say it was like as forgettable as other people were saying. Yeah. The score was nothing to shake a stick at. It was typical MCU score. Who cares?
Yeah.
Cinematography looked fine, I guess. Nothing again. Bland compared to the rest of the most of the stuff in this movie is just there compared to the rest of the MCU. I'm just basically judging it more so as a because I don't know.
It's just super, super bland.
Yeah, it kind of is. It's not like it's not like I'm one of those fucking bros who wants to hate this movie because of women. It's because I want this movie to be great, definitely. It's just I think that the main character probably should have been written better. And I also think that Morrison thinks about it. Because with strong female characters, I also feel like part of that is not just having them be strong, but also having them add more of a character. Because a huge part of why we need more strong female characters in Hollywood Charles, because for a long time the woman character was just a personality-less, big-titted, basically sex object. That's how they portray it.
An anime character, basically.
A lot of female characters in Hollywood for a while are just basically the Lola Bunny in fucking Space Jam. I'll remember that.
Let's be honest.
Spike Lee's Space Jam.
Okay, and I think Carol, like I said, she doesn't really have that much of a character. She's a pilot, and
she's in the Air Force.
She flies.
Yeah, she flies.
It's in the 90s.
She
was Blockbuster.
She's a person. She's in the 90s. Back in the 90s.
I literally just said in the 90s.
Mid-90s. Directed by John Hill.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
By the way, this movie does not have DualShock PlayStation controls. This is more worthy being told mid-90s than mid-90s. Acting, Brie Larson. I think that her performance is definitely something that rubbed this movie down. It's not me trying to hate Brie Larson. I actually think Brie Larson is a very good actress. It's just that I blame it more on the direction and the writing of the character.
Honestly.
And the hot take, Dakota Johnson should be Captain Marvel in that movie.
No.
Flex.
Dakota Johnson fits more as a Batgirl.
I can see that.
Yeah, maybe.
A Batgirl?
Well, everyone, I think you all know what my answer for Captain Marvel would be, but I'm not.
We know.
Yes, and we're gonna move on now.
Okay. Anyway,
We're gonna stop talking about stands.
The other performances, Jude Law was really good. I thought Annette Bening was pretty pretty good. I mean, she's a really great actress. But most of Samuel L. Jackson, I think, was. Well, I mean, his performance was pretty decent, but his performance was mostly good in terms of how well they de-aged him.
They actually did that was actually really impressive.
That shit was awesome. How they fucking de-aged him.
That was impressive.
That was very awesome. It was a fun movie. I had an enjoyable time watching it. Not so good movie, but I mean, yeah, whatever. You know what the best performance movie was? Ben Mendelsohn.
It's debatable.
I don't know. I liked him as the villain. And Ben Mendelsohn.
Way of saying none of them.
Ben Mendelsohn is awesome in general. Fuck you guys. Well, this fun thing. I don't think this movie is like the worst movie ever. Like fucking Adam and Mark were saying.
No, you spoiled Adam's opinion.
I don't. Well, yeah. I mean, it is you guys' opinion, so I respect it. Don't worry. But it's just that. I mean, I don't know. It's more forgettable. I mean, it's enjoyable. It does things well. I like some of the bullshit it has in it, and I mean, I do like how it moves like this is the mainstream, but at the same time, it's somewhat forgettable.
The thing with Captain Marvel is that I feel like the kind of stuff surrounding the film itself is more interesting than the film itself.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
The conversation and discourse is way more interesting, or just kind of controversial than the film itself.
I love how there's so much discourse from a movie that's just like, okay.
You know, that's literally that's just happening.
It's like poetry. It rhymes, and I'll get what I mean by that when I talk about the movie. But you know,
like not to be like YMS, but there are tons of other movies with better written, strong female characters that you could probably be watching instead of this movie.
Honestly,
like
Alien.
It's definitely great to have them in blockbusters for sure. Definitely,
waiting for Brian to talk about 3 billboards.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Shape of Water is a great example, I think.
There's like a ton of like the strong characters, definitely. Scream.
Oh yeah, Scream.
Yeah. So essentially, like, there's a difference between just having
Suicide Squad.
Shut up. Okay. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that there's a difference between having a strong female character like an independent movie having one of the big blockbuster. Because the blockbuster is definitely more seen, so I guess it merits there more. But I just don't feel like Captain Marvel is well with the character enough. And I just think that we should definitely focus on writing them better. I know I'm not one to say because I'm a male. I know that definitely, but I mean at the same time, like that does not make me think that I can't acknowledge good writing. And I feel like, say, a character like Hayes or Ripley or the main character, I'm forgetting her name, or just any strong female character in any movie.
Any of the 3 main characters in The Favorite.
And the Captain Marvel is not yeah, favorite, sure. Captain Marvel is not a greatly written movie by any means. Well, and so it doesn't have good enough writing to where it knows what to simply do. Like, I mean, like, I think make her an insanely interesting character. Give her a consistent personality, because she has like 3 personalities. Like, she's either a brat, or she's like, I don't know, it's like a tough girl or something like that. Like, choose one of them, and like, well, here's the thing. Actually, having both personalities for one character would definitely make them more 3-dimensional and human. Same, like, just with like, same with like 3 billboards. The characters are insanely human.
There it is.
Shut up.
Alita, Metal Angel was better than Captain Marvel.
Honestly, it is. Like, I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding.
Sorry for droning on, but the writing this movie does not complement being able to carry off a well-written female character. I think that just, like I said, just write female characters better than you really have.
Yeah, don't make them. Well, I was about to say something, but Brian would get really pissed off if I said it.
What were you gonna say?
Mary Sue.
Mary Sue.
Yeah, like Ray.
I hate to be one of those big bros, but Captain Marvel actually is somewhat Mary Sue in a way.
She is a Mary Sue.
No, she is. She is.
She's overpowered as fuck.
Honestly,
that's her character.
Because I mean, like, she really has no flaws, and she has nothing like. Like, I'm not saying you have to have flaws, but at the same time, like, having flaws that you have to overachieve what can make a lovely character know their strengths and weaknesses. In fact, people call Ray Mary Sue. You know what? Fuck them. I don't think she's Mary Sue.
Honestly, well, Brian, I have to
Fuck
disagree.
off, George. Oh, she's a Mary Sue because she beat the shit out of Kylo. Well, Kylo Ren got fucking shot in the chest before Ray beat the shit out of him.
Well, Ray didn't earn the Force. Ray didn't really earn the Force, and even then, she was barely even like Luke in like Empire Strikes Back. Like he had to earn the Force, and even then, he was barely he could barely beat Darth Vader at the end of Return of the Jedi.
I don't know what.
Ray can beat Kylo Ren with no problem at all, and all she did the entire movie was whine. Like I like the movie, but even I have to admit that Ray's a Mary Sue.
Okay, she is somewhat in ways, but I also feel like she's definitely a better written character than some other characters are Mary Sue. Like Captain Marvel is a Mary Sue in a way, and I fucking oh my god, using that term makes me want to put a fucking sawed-off shotgun in my mouth. I hate using it. It makes me feel like one of those fucking dude bros. I don't like using the term. It makes me feel like one of them, and it makes me squirm. But but I mean, this is mature. I mean, Captain Marvel really has no strengths or weaknesses. Like, she doesn't have that much to her. She's just a pilot who got an explosion. Like, I don't fucking care. Fucking give her something. Jesus.
Exactly. Just give her some kind of character.
Like, I don't care if she was a pilot. I don't care if she was fucking McDonald's. Just give her something that makes her interesting.
Right.
Give her flaws to, like, just fucking, like, over, or, like, what's the term? Like, just, I don't know, like, being able to see stuff, or just, like,
make her an actual character?
Yeah, make her an actual character.
Exactly. Just give her a character, for God's sakes. It's not that hard.
Exactly.
Well, then again, I mean, it's a shame that, like, in order to get strong characters in the blockbuster, it's essentially that, like, I mean, what do I say? It's just like, writers of movies like Alien, Three Billboards, obviously, they're like, well, I mean, Alien's a blockbuster, like, that's not a bad example. Well, the movie like Three Billboards, I know, sorry, that I'll bring up again, but...
Well, it's a good example.
Or Take Water, Roma, those are smaller movies that have way more freedom, whereas movies like Captain Marvel don't have enough freedom. Like, they're basically made by Marvel.
Disney's just playing it safe.
Disney is capitalism.
No, Disney's just playing it safe. Disney is just like, it's just like, we don't like strong female characters.
We have the Marvel fanboys by their balls. If they don't watch Brie Larson, they're not gonna get Endgame.
I'm gonna put off the Academy to vote Black Panther for Best Picture.
Oh my god.
Fuck capitalism, fuck capitalism. I'm not communist either, so fuck you. But yeah, Captain Marvel's a decent movie. I don't think it really earns being able to be a staple for women representation. I feel like it doesn't. I don't want to sound sexist when saying it. It's just like I feel like it should have more of a character. Because if you want a female character to be strong, you gotta have her an actual character. Because if you have a female character with no personality, then like how is that much better than shit like Space Man, where it's just a hot female character? Like, give her a character and a personality and have her be well written.
Honestly, yeah.
No.
What?
No.
We don't like strong female characters. We just like someone with nice tits.
Because okay, here's something I thought about. You know how basically the Wasp and Captain Marvel are essentially the same character.
Honestly, okay. There are a few differences in there. Like, they at least attempt to give Captain Marvel character. They don't even attempt to give the Wasp any form of characterization.
And that is that they're both strong female characters who are only strong female characters that they can kick ass, but not in terms of their actual characters. Like, they're basically just cardboard cutouts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, just write better and give better characters in order to be strong and have good reputation. Like the Wasp. Okay, I think the Wasp is probably not a very good comparison because she has no character. She's just, I have a dad who's a scientist.
Yeah, she has no character. At least Captain Marvel had some attempt at a character, even if...
Yeah, I mean, she's a pilot. That's something.
Yeah, I guess that's something. Alright.
Yeah, but isn't that kind of the same as, hey, I have a scientist dad? we don't really see much in the pilot situation.
Well, they at least try to show a little bit more with Captain Marvel. I don't.
Honestly, I thought the pilot part was really good. They really don't show that much. I mean, they show like some parts of space, but they don't really show. I don't know. I like some of the cool technology shit in the movie. Like some of the.
It's just the awful marketing, honestly.
Oh yeah. Like
Yeah.
really, it's easy to.
It's part of This is part of the reason I hate Disney, honestly. Final verdict on the movie, Brian, or are you not there yet?
Okay. Yeah, it's fine. It's enjoyable. It's the cat won't beat Thanos. At least the cat is not Endgame. I will take a fucking post Taco Bell shit in the Russo Bros.
Yeah. Apparently that cat was CG.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Apparently Brie Larson's terrible with cats.
Well, I mean, so am I.
I couldn't really even tell.
So am I. I'm definitely allergic to cats.
Honestly, I couldn't really tell if he was CGI except the part where he was like an alien creature. That was obviously CGI. But the part where it's just a cat, I don't know. Makes him a normie, but final bird 6 out of 10. You'll probably see this movie anyway. You either enjoy it or you don't. I don't think this is a very good staple for being able to represent women in Hollywood, like in the movie. I don't want to say this, but just in representation. So I think that, like I said, it all depends on the writing. Like I said, I know I'm not going to say people. I'm pretty sure there's going to be like some people in the comments calling me out and saying, "You have no right to say it, man." Which I mean, I don't know. At the same time, I mean, I can acknowledge good writing, and when I hopefully become a filmmaker, I'm going to try and write female characters the best way that I can. And I'm not going to make them just big-titted personality list.
Yeah, that's what you should do.
I don't know. That's really the best comparison I can make.
Space Jam bunnies.
Talking about terrible female characters. This entire podcast is going to be bringing up Space Jam bunnies.
Okay, Captain Marvel. It's whatever. Here's the analogy I wanted to use earlier. Mark has seen this movie. Brian and Adam haven't. There's a scene in the Holy Mountain where there's a scene where where these guys are painting each other's asses, and it's supposed to be like art, but it's the metaphor is like, oh, it's art, but the irony is like it's literally on the place where your shit comes out of. That's kind of what Captain Marvel is. It's so bland. Like Brie Larson is fine in the movie. Her character is weak as crap. Not that she was bad in the movie. Like there's this one guy. I'm not gonna name him, who thinks that Brie Larson in this movie is genuinely Oscar worthy. I'm like, no.
Wait, what? She wasn't that good. Like, there were times where like her line delivery was just got off.
And the thing is, I like Brie Larson as an actress. I think she's extremely talented. But the thing is that she's just not that good in this movie. That's the problem. And that's another thing, is that this film, I mean, it's just bland. There's barely anything to talk about almost. Here's the thing. I'm gonna get into it a little bit. I wish that the conversations surrounding this film were a lot more nuanced. Like it seems like if you hate this movie, you're a misogynist, and if you love this movie, you're an SJW. And there's like no in between. You have to either love it or hate it, and that's a problem I have with movies in general nowadays. It's like oh, you either love The Force Awakens or you hate it. You either love Jurassic World or you hate it. It's like, no, there's an in between. There's a gray area. There's some shades of gray in that in between.
You're acting like
50 of them, as a matter of fact.
Shut up, Adam.
3 billboards didn't win Best Picture.
it should have won Best Picture. Okay.
It's like, the thing is, though, there's so many great female characters, like any of the 3 leads in The Favorite, Yalitza and Roma and Sally Hawkins in The Shape of Water, who are all amazing, who are all great and strong female characters. Or if you want to do a blockbuster, Ripley in the Alien franchise. She's a great character. Maybe not in the last 2 movies, but in the first 2 for sure, she's a great character. And yet, you have Captain Marvel, because Disney is just playing it safe, like, oh, I just want a character who has protects and she doesn't have a good character, ha. It's like,
George, I love how when you were talking about discourse around this movie, how if you love it, you're an SJW, and if you hate it, you're misogynist. I love how you're saying that's a new thing, but this has been around for a while. And
well, I know that. I know it's been around for a while, but it's.
Online film criticism a living hell. Like,
but that's the thing. But that's the thing, though. It's even more pronounced now that Captain Marvel has come out.
Like, criticism was bad with Roger Ebert, and I'm like, what the fuck? Don't.
It's like Roger. Like I don't agree with everything Roger Ebert said. Like he said something like, "Oh, video games." Like
I
oh,
don't think a lot of.
video games are like video games can never be the same form of art as movies, and I'm like, okay, well that's just him being an old fart.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay. The real thing is that, like, if anyone wants to say that Roger Ebert was like the worst part of film criticism, because there are a ton of people that look back on Roger Ebert and it's like, oh, he like ruined film criticism and stuff like that.
No.
Have you been on film Twitter? You love God, any of you. Have you been on film Twitter?
I hate film Twitter so much,
film
honestly.
Twitter is an actual living hell, and any discourse on a movie is, like.
And the thing is, I made an analogy earlier with, oh, it's like poetry, it rhymes. The same thing happened last year with Black Panther. It was like, if you didn't like it, you were a racist, and if you loved it, you were an SJW. It's like it's the same thing. It's like poetry, it rhymes. And speaking of poetry, it rhymes.
Nobody liked Ghostbusters, though.
Yeah, nobody liked Ghostbusters. Well, some people did. Some people did. Speaking of poetry, it rhymes. I have an interesting prediction that I'm not gonna say because Mark and Adam will just get really pissed at me.
Why would you bring up if you're not gonna say it?
Okay, here it is. I think Captain Marvel's gonna be nominated for Best Picture.
It probably will. No. I think Black Panther had a scores for it. Like, I think that movie has to be the same. Is it gonna get nominated? I'm hoping.
Like, I just have a hunch. I just have a hunch. I know it's not too likely. I just have a hunch. But anyway,
It's gonna get nominated for
visual effects for sure.
If he gets nominated for Best Picture, that would genuinely be like, oh.
That would just be like, okay, Black Panther, fine. Captain Marvel,
See,
no.
Black Panther had both like the minority and like because it was like super. It was their culture. It was
like Black Panther was at least good.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah, okay. The thing is, sorry, okay, whatever. So essentially, I remember some tweets saying like, if the Oscars are racist because they're not going to nominate Black Panther. Like, I mean, there's more to that. I mean, it's just more so the Oscars don't like superhero movies. Which,
yeah.
I don't think many superhero movies deserve Oscars. Okay, that's just me.
Yeah, me either, honestly.
I don't think there are many, like, even the superhero movies I love, I wouldn't say Best Picture. Like, except maybe Logan or Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Those are like the only two I think would probably be up for Oscars. That's about it. I don't think that superhero movies or tons of blockbusters in general are enough to really be qualified to be up for Oscars.
Yeah, honestly.
I respect the cultural impact of Black Panther. I'm glad it's nominated. It's to for the Oscars to respect that a movie with an all-black cast. Well, mostly black cast, but Disney had these movies and they couldn't have an all-black cast, and they had to throw Martin Freeman for literally no reason.
Andy Serkis was also in there.
Well, I mean, Andy Serkis had
Yeah, he had a purpose. So.
Okay, sorry. It's just that, yeah, but with a movie with an all-black, mostly black cast, and, be in Hollywood, make tons of money, which is very important, definitely. But, I mean, as a movie, I don't think it's not the best picture. Yeah, I don't think it does.
But I deserve to be nominated for Best Picture. That's sweet.
I was glad that it was nominated, just to respect the cultural impact. And I know I'm just basically stuttering, but it's just that I just don't think many superhero movies deserve to be nominated.
Yeah, but okay. Let me get back to my thoughts on the film.
Okay, sorry for talking about it.
So the thing is, the movie's just so cookie cutter and safe that that's so hard for me to actually talk about it because there's nothing really to talk about. Like the filmmaking was really boring. Like the only part of the filmmaking that I actually found impressive was how they de-aged Samuel L. Jackson. Who, by the way, Samuel L. Jackson probably gave the best performance in the film. I thought he was really good. But I mean, the monologue in the car was bad. The thing that it was either Mark or Brian, I can't remember, who was talking about the cockpit line, that made me cringe so hard. I was just like, oh my god.
This movie feels like a women's action movie that was written by a bunch of men who think they know women, aka everything.
It's like those Lifetime original movies about teenagers where it's like, oh, we're going to be relatable to teenagers, but they're written by a committee of 65-year-olds who don't know what teenagers are like.
Wait, to clarify, 6-year-old white people. And I also want to point out that what I just said is ironic, is the fact that this movie has 4 writers. 3 of them are women, 1 of them is a man. So this movie is primarily female written.
Yeah.
Awesome. But at the same time, like, this movie doesn't really feel like a movie that was like passionately written by a woman who wanted.
Honestly, yeah, it's like.
So I'm just gonna assume that they had a script that had some potential for a great female-led action movie that was also intended creative, but Disney just wouldn't let them do what they wanted to because they don't.
Yeah, honestly, it's like here's the thing.
So I blame Disney.
It's like the thing is though, people like there's this like people are like, oh, we're gonna flock to Captain Marvel because it's female led, even though there's all these great movies like Three Billboards and
because it's progressive does not mean it's good.
Exactly, exactly. Like people are gonna flock to Captain Marvel because it's got a female lead, even though they completely ignore like Three Billboards and The Shape of Water. La La Land even had a strong female lead. Nocturnal Animals, Arrival, like those movies have like strong female leads, and yet they ignore all those to just go see Captain Marvel.
Which is directed by a woman, by the way.
Wait, which one?
Edge 17.
Edge 17.
I believe written by a woman as well.
Yeah. Lady Bird even.
Oh,
like say what you will about Lady Bird, but I mean, it's at least a stronger female. She's at least a stronger female character than Captain Marvel.
I genuinely hate the kind of like discourse that happens with film now.
It's just
politics is so intertwined with it now. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's just.
Like, what
I mean, to be fair, it's like I mean, it's like a lot of people say, oh, the film doesn't belong to filmmakers anymore. It belongs to the public now, so they can't decide whether or not it's going to be politicized. Okay, sure, the filmmakers can't decide whether or not it's going to be politicized, but it's still their property, and they can still they can still say, well, I didn't mean for it to be politicized.
Well, no,
I didn't want it to be politicized.
They don't mean it, but it will still happen.
Well, yeah, obviously, I'm like, it's like I mean. Like, Alfonso Cuarón didn't intend Roma to be a political film, but the audience made it political. And, whereas Spike Lee wanted Black Klansman to be political from the beginning.
The thing is, I love, like, proper representation movies. In fact, I really love when there's proper LGBTQ representation movies.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm not going to say movies are good just because they have proper representation.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
What I meant is, I'm not going to say movies just because they have representation. I shouldn't have said proper because of the fact how there are some movies really, really bad representation that are still treated as having great representation just because they try to have representation even though they completely fuck it up.
Yeah, it's like I like diversity, but I don't like forced diversity.
Well, Borat is like one of the most homophobic movies in history. Well, I mean, at least
it's not homophobic. They're trying.
It is.
It kind of is, honestly.
Okay, try to explain.
Let's not talk about Bohemian Rhapsody right now.
Do you want me to explain it? I mean, I can explain it.
Here, Mark, explain it.
Okay, Bohemian Rhapsody has like this backwards sincerity with how they treat Freddie Mercury and his relationships. Like, the only really positive relationship they show in that whole movie is his heterosexual relationship, and all of his like gay relationships are like super negative or abusive or just lustful, instead of actually giving any real kind of development. And the only real positive.
That's part of the reason why it's just so cookie cutter and safe.
Yeah. Oh, you can think his most positive. Well, his most positive is the one with him. But at the same time, that's barely shown in the movie.
It's like 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah. Well, and then that's a relationship that is portrayed in the movie as starting with Freddie grabbing his ass, which did not happen in real life. I wasn't there, but I highly doubt that's how it took. Right?
Yeah, I didn't even.
That's another thing about Bohemian Rhapsody is that the whole thing was just watered down to a PG-13 rating, be more cookie cutter and safe.
Do you remember the fucking another one bites the dust scene? That showed Freddie Mercury at a club, and they show red legs descending to hell. Yeah, that scene kind of pissed me off.
Yeah, but enough. Let's stop talking about Bohemian Rhapsody.
We're not trying to ruin the movie for you.
It's just Captain Marvel is just. It's the type of movie where it's like, it's just so cookie cutter and say, I don't want to take away anyone's enjoyment of the film because I mean, if you thought Captain Marvel was amazing, then yeah, that's a correct adjective for you. For you, that's a correct adjective. For me, it isn't.
No opinion's right.
Yeah, no opinion is right or wrong. Honestly, it's like yeah, there's some objective, there's definitely objective things to film, but whether or not you like a movie is completely subjective.
Like, well, then again, if you have an opinion that's like racist or homophobic or sexist, then
Yeah, obviously, then you know.
Swing that and just like the movie.
Yeah, but that's like the vast minority of people.
And I know that the feeling that people have when watching Captain Marvel will find women right there.
It's like I don't know. It's like
similar to how I feel with proper LGBT representation in any form of media. So I can definitely appreciate it.
it's just Captain Marvel is just the type of movie where it's like, okay, we just want to shit this out so that we can get a movie with a female lead out there, and it's like.
Sorry, George.
And again, it's like that scene in the Holy Mountain where everyone's painting each other's asses. It's like it's disguising itself as art, but it's not really. But it's bad art. It's art. It is art, but it's not bad art. But it's bad art, and that's the thing about it. And I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, Brie Larson is just fucking feminist. No, I'm not going to be one of those dude bros who just complains about how Brie Larson's a feminist and how she hates men, which first of all I don't believe, and second, even if I did believe that, I wouldn't bring that into my opinion on the movie. I separate the art from the artist.
Yeah, that's very true. And real quick, okay, George, I'm so sorry I keep just cutting.
No, Brian, it's fine.
But I just remembered something. I feel like I should have brought when I was talking about it. The difference between this movie and the other diverse superhero movie, Black Panther, is that Black Panther feels much more like it had much more heart put into this movie. Like it was made by a person of color. It was a staple of Black culture.
Here's my theory about that. I agree with you. I completely agree with you. It's like, but Ryan Coogler has made like not Slumdog Millionaire, Fruitvale Station.
We didn't know the entire time.
Fruitvale Station and Creed, two highly successful and critically acclaimed movies. And then when he directed Black Panther, Disney was like, okay, let's let him do whatever he wants because clearly he's successful. He knows what he's doing. And then Captain Marvel, what do these guys have? Mississippi Grind, Half Nelson. It's like, okay, they haven't had much. We can control them. I think that's what it is.
Those are both great movies, though.
Oh, yeah, real thing is that.
Okay,
it's like, I don't doubt that Disney had some involvement in the final product of Black Panther, but I think they were like, let's let Ryan Coogler just do whatever he wants because he's so successful.
Black Panther is one of the few MCU movies that actually feels like the director was able to do what they wanted to do. Because the directing that movie
exactly.
About how it stands out, but at the same time, it feels more.
It feels genuine. It feels genuine. I think that's what ultimately led me to bump it up to a 7. Is that it's just so genuine.
It feels way more like a passion project than Captain Marvel. Because Captain Marvel was directed by one man and one woman, and I mean. Not
that that's a bad thing. Keep in mind.
I mean, it more so. I feel like if it was directed by, well, not even primarily women, but a woman who was passionate about this film, and if they Disney let them do whatever they wanted and sit there and control everything, then it would have been better, and it would have been basically Black Panther for women. It would have been a lot better. Okay, so who's the female director you think could have handled this movie a lot better? I think, imagine if Captain Bigelow.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Captain Bigelow. I don't know.
Bigelow has more background than what Nick.
Because the real thing is that
she did the sci-fi movie called Strange Days, so that might.
The real thing is that George, I agree with you when it comes to getting direction wrong movies. Because the fact that if they directed blockbusters before, they'll do whatever they want.
Yeah, obviously.
No normie has heard of. They'll just tell them what to do.
That's what they did with the Amazing Spider-Man too. With the Amazing Spider-Man movies, Mark Webb only made 500 Days of Summer, And even though it was a good movie, it wasn't very successful. So Sony was just like, okay, let's tell him what we want to do, and just completely fuck up his vision.
The thing is, Mark Webb was a weird choice for that movie to begin with. I cannot see Mark Webb directing this movie, so I don't know what they're.
I'm sure he wanted to. I'm sure he had his plenty of great ideas for the film, but Sony was just like, nah, we're not gonna let you do that. We're just gonna tell you what we want.
I don't know. I've heard some people say like, the directing movies is fine, it feels like an indie film, and I'm like, no.
Sometimes in terms of like its color palette and its production, yeah, it feels like an indie movie, but it's not an indie movie. It like,
no shit.
yeah, but I mean, the point I'm trying to make is that like there was this interview with Viggo Mortensen. It was like Hollywood Reporter or something, where Viggo was like, if Mahershala found this story about, if Mahershala or some kind of black director found this interesting story about these Scottish men who were being the subjects of racism, and and that black director wanted to turn that into a movie, then who should stop him? Because we're all human, and we shouldn't be limited to what kind of perspectives we could tell a story from. And I agree with that a lot. Like the thing is, it's great to have a woman direct this type of movie, but I mean, if I were choosing who to direct it, and there was a woman who had no vision for the movie at all, and was just like, I want to direct it because I'm a woman, and there was this man who had a lot of vision for it. He had a lot of like ideas for it, cool ideas for it. I'd pick the guy to direct it, 100%, because he has like ideas for it.
I don't know. I think it's more appropriate to have like a woman directing about women, have a person of color directing about people of color. Like, I don't know. I just think like I mean, it was they can easily.
But the thing is though, we're all human, so we shouldn't be limited to what perspective we want to tell.
Look at Crash though. That was directed and written by a white person. Look how that's.
Well, yeah, but Crash was poorly written to begin with.
No, I mean, but okay. The basic is that basically. Okay, sorry. Adam, go.
I think a man can direct a movie about women, but have a woman write the movie.
Well, okay, that makes sense. But at the same time, like, men
Well, have a woman's perspective, obviously.
men can definitely write. Look at Alex Garland. Alex Garland, amazing, right?
Oh yeah, Ex Machina.
Annihilation. He's great at writing characters. But I saw, I watched it, but I got recommended videos of like how Alex Garland understands characters. I completely agree with you. I think that men definitely write with how women could. Just the real thing. And this is mainly attaching to white people direct people, about people of color, is that they don't seem to have enough understanding about like the struggles, mainly because they haven't had to go through them in the same way people of color have. So it's not really the best idea to have white people direct about people of color. Because Green Book, I find your do that about, but it's not a good portrayal of racism whatsoever. Because you could definitely tell it's a movie that was written by a white person who think racism.
Well, I'm talking about like creative vision. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about creative vision. I'm not talking about you should do that. Like my entire point is, like if you don't have a creative vision for the movie, it doesn't matter what gender or race you are. I'm not going to hire you.
I do agree that creative freedom should definitely be on the table, and
like I think creative freedom should just be paramount.
Yeah, but at the same time, like with creative freedom and only directing, imagine if focus would be a Coppola directing. It's not likely they got Mark Webb started.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure she would be really passionate about it, and I'm positive that Disney would just let her do whatever she wanted to. But I don't know if she would. The thing is, a year ago, I would have suggested Greta Gerwig do it. But the thing is, okay, Greta Gerwig only made one movie, and she co-directed another movie. So it's like maybe she's not the best choice in hindsight.
It's going back to what fans that like if they mainly give directing freedom.
Yeah, it's like
that was pretty popular. Well, even that James Gunn had like a huge track record. Well, he did have a track record. Like he didn't make like insane.
Yeah, the Scooby-Doo movies.
Well, yeah, those were classics, but I mean, like, I don't know. We're throwing out there. Okay, George, do you have anything else to say?
It's just, again, I hate to keep bringing this up, but it's the scene in the Holy Mountain where everyone's just painting each other's asses. That's just what it is. It's a perfect metaphor for this movie, and almost everything that Disney's putting out now. It's like this is one of the many reasons why I hate Disney. They just keep churning out these safe pieces of dog shit that don't do anything. It's just all cookie cutter. That's part of the reason I hate Disney. It's just, oh my god.
I hate Disney for a lot of reasons.
Well, I do too. That's just one of them. And I don't know. Captain Marvel's just middle of the road, 5 out of 10. Honestly,
It's
like the thing
amazing.
about Black Panther, it's not a great movie. Like I gave it a 7, and I don't consider 7 to be a great
I
rating.
like it too, but I mean, I wouldn't say it's an amazing movie, but I
But
do
it's like I can at least appreciate some things about Black Panther. Like I can appreciate like the amount of craft that went into that movie, and I know, and Ryan Coogler did direct the movie pretty well, honestly.
Yes.
It's just this movie is so flatly directed, and Captain Marvel, and I haven't seen Half Nelson or Mississippi Grind, so I don't know what those movies are like.
I don't want to trash Ryan Coogler.
No. This is the first movie I've seen from them. I'm not gonna trash them just based on one movie. That would be stupid. That would be really stupid.
It's just like they just got two directors who directed a few movies. It's like, oh, just direct the movie. We're not gonna let you do what you want to do. Just have like.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch those two movies eventually, but
Yeah. Oh, same.
like YMS recommended Mississippi Grind, so that might be something. I tend to agree with YMS on a lot of things. But anyway, yeah, this movie's just a 5 out of 10. I mean, I didn't hate it, I didn't love it. There are a few Marvel movies that I love, like Thor Ragnarok and Guardians movies, but that's because those directors have like creative freedom.
Oh yeah. Taika Waititi got like, I'm sure he got tons of creative work on it, even though he didn't write it.
Yeah, he didn't write the movie. It's almost like those like one for them, one for me type movies. Like how like Spike Lee directed 2013 Old Boy, and then he did Black Klansman.
How in the fuck did he direct that? Because he did not seem passionate about that project whatsoever.
I don't even think he watched the original. I'm not even kidding.
Man, I cannot believe the director is the same town as Spike Lee directed.
Yeah, like Spike Lee. Like when you listen to him talk about something like Do the Right Thing or Black Klansman, he's so passionate. He's so eager to talk about it. When you watch him talk about like Old Boy or one of his other shitty movies, he's like falling asleep.
What are some other bad movies he's directed?
There was this one about this little this little boy and this soldier or something. I thought that was just god awful.
Wait, you see it? Okay.
Well, I've seen part of it, but I turned it off.
Is it Miracle at St. Anna?
Yeah, that one. I turned it off like 30 minutes in because it was just so terrible. It's one of the first movies. It's one of the only movies I gave up watching. Like The Girl with All the Gifts was another one that I gave up watching on because that movie was just so horrible.
The what?
The Girl with All the Gifts. It's this stupid zombie movie starring Gemma Arterton and Glenn Close.
Oscar winner Glenn Close.
Yeah.
Okay, see ya.
Honestly, Olivia Colman deserved it. I mean.
Well, yeah, it's Glenn Close one of them, Matt, even though, well, who doesn't love Glenn Close?
Yeah, like she's a great actress, and shame on the Academy for snubbing her, but come on, Olivia Colman deserved it.
Like, there's other performances that are more Oscar-worthy than this year.
Cookies Fortune, directed by my favorite director, Robert Altman.
Like, wait, she's in Robert Altman.
Cookies Fortune. It's one of his lesser known movies. It's my least favorite movie of his. It's a great movie, but it's my least favorite film of his.
Okay.
It's like an 8 out of 10. And Julianne Moore's in that movie too, actually.
Oh yeah, she's in Mary Riley. What do you love?
Julianne Moore's in Cookies Fortune too, and she's also in Shortcuts.
Hold the phone.
Yeah, unfortunately, the movie's very hard to find. I had to dig around for a long time to find that movie. I'm gonna go get some lemonade. I'll be right back.
Well, since we kind of spent a lot of time on George's in the case of, I guess talking about the background behind it, I'm gonna try to talk more about the movie than,
I'll be right back.
I guess the more political stuff behind it. But yeah, I'm gonna keep it brief on the political background of it. and I'm going to talk more about the movie. Because the movie is a really boring and lazy attempt to try to get a point across. Remember Ready Player One? How they kind of like shoved nostalgia down your throat?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I feel like they did that a lot here as well. Where it's like, remember, but it was more subtle in some cases.
Yeah.
Besides Blockbuster.
Oh, my. The Blockbuster was the most obnoxious part. I agree.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah. But, performance-wise, I didn't really see anybody who had any sort of credit that was due for a good performance.
What about Jude Law?
I didn't like Jude Law at all. He's like, haha. Wait, can I talk spoilers here?
What's there to spoil, really?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's seen the movie a million times.
Yeah, I think everyone who... I doubt there's only going to be like this one or two people listening. Well, there's going to be one or two people listening to this only in general. But there's going to be this, only like one or two people who are listening to this podcast who have not seen the movie, so...
It's just like... It's a huge mess in both the plot, storytelling, and also performances and writing and everything like that. Because Jude Law, he's like, oh, hey, I'm your friend. And then halfway through, it's like, oh, but now he's the bad guy. So let's change that up a bit. And it's like really messy and awkward. And some of the stuff between Captain Marvel and I forget like the goblin names. What are the names of like the goblins or whatever?
Scrolls.
Yeah, the Scrolls.
It's really dumb because it's like that joke back in like 2011 where it's like these horrible people are like after you, but it turns out they want to be your friend all along. It's so tiresome and boring.
Honestly, yeah, that was a bit out of nowhere. Like, you spending time to hate them, and then like violent intent. It's like, oh no, they're friendly.
They make you.
They're just complicated.
Hating them. Yeah, they make you feel bad for like.
They just don't understand each other.
Yeah, we literally just watched like the team that.
It's like every conflict in every movie is just that two characters don't understand each other.
Yeah, and then they like come together. Oh, the scene where they're literally the Skrulls are literally sitting down and eating dinner like normal people is the most hilarious.
Yeah, one of them's like wearing like a big ass sweatshirt.
It's so awkward. It's so horrible. Aside from like just dumb stuff in general, I'd say performance-wise, the only person that I'd consider decent was Ben Mendelsohn, and we barely even got to see much of him. And Samuel L. Jackson's probably the worst next to Brie Larson, because Brie Larson just cracks boring jokes, and she ruins the vibe of like say an action sequence, like when they're on the spaceship or whatever, and a bunch of Skrulls come in, and she's like on a rail, and she says a really horrible one-liner and then jumps down. But then Samuel L. Jackson, the only thing he contributes to is calling out Goose for being cute. So,
Goose is the best character, though.
Yes, but other than that, I don't really consider everything else great. 1 out of 10. It's horrible.
Is there anything positive to say about it?
There are some shots that are pretty nice. Besides that one scene of Captain Marvel falling, and it's like green screened to hell, and it's garbage.
Oh
my favorite scene in Captain Marvel was when Peter Griffin fell and hit his knee. I want to see that with Brie Larson's Captain Marvel.
Speaking of Peter Griffin,
oh my god, imagine if they made a Family Guy-like joke in this movie in the same way that Black Panther had the Winter Soldier.
Oh my god, that would be
I
epic.
can't wait for the damn Daniel joke in Endgame.
Oh boy. Oh, speaking of Family Guy, Adam, how's your Family Guy marathon going?
Well, oh boy, I have to watch a completely new seasons. I literally have to binge watch Family Guy now. It's just a thing.
Yeah, because Green Book won Best Picture.
Yep, it's like my family asks if they want to like go see a movie with me. I'm like, sorry, Mom, I can't. I'm too busy watching Family Guy. I don't know. I'm stupid.
It's like, why did I make the bet to make a Minecraft Let's Play after Bohemian Rhapsody? I didn't take it seriously at all.
It's like I finished every single season that I needed to catch up to, and now all I need to do is watch every single episode that airs on Fox, and it's horrible. And it's if you ever even try to say like, oh, it's this many retweets and I'll watch Family Guy, you're literally setting yourself up for suicide.
Okay, but how many RTs for you to watch the rest of Family Guy?
I already have to.
I meant, like, how many RTs for you... how many RTs for you to reenact one of the iconic Peter Griffin chicken fight scenes and have a guy dressed in a chicken suit and beat the shit out of my camera? You know what? Fuck you. I did it for free.
He's there for free.
100.
Brian would do it for free, yeah.
I would. I'd dress as Peter Griffin and beat the shit out of some guy in a chicken suit.
You look like Peter Griffin, Brian.
What?
Whenever the
Nothing.
scenes came up in the show, I always thought of Al's toy.
Yes. Okay, yeah, we're getting sidetracked. Okay, so you got anything more to say about Captain Marvel, or can we move on to us?
Nope. Captain Marvel's the worst movie of the year.
Okay, so...
1 out of 10.
Okay, Mark.
Worst movie of the year. Yeah, you clearly haven't seen Unplanned.
Mark, are you still here? Mark, are you still here? Holy shit.
I think Mark died.
Damn it.
Probably just fell asleep. Whatever.
He's probably gonna start snoring like George does.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Well, I'm actually actively trying to stay awake this episode. So.
Alright.
So our next topic is gonna be Jordan Peele's next film, USA, USA, USA.
Awesome.
That joke is literally. Oh my god, I'm embarrassed. Oh, okay. Anyway, so this discussion on us is going to be spoiler filled. So if you haven't seen the movie, get off your fat asses and go to your local theater to see it. So yeah, we're going to be talking about spoilers. So yes.
Anyway.
Let's go first with our thoughts.
I would love to.
Yeah, let Adam go first because he actually got to see it a month early.
Yep. Us is hands down one of the greatest modern day horror films to basically just come out of this decade. I guess my analogy is I love the whole fact that Hands Across America, his take on it, turns into basically a whole apocalypse. Anyways, I guess when the movie started off, it kind of, you can kind of tell from most of the style throughout the entire movie, it feels like a Jordan Peele film, and I think that's gonna happen for most of his movies, because I felt a Get Out vibe in the opening, because Get Out was kind of like, it was quiet in the opening, and then like things went kind of crazy, and that's the opening. And then I guess my take on the rabbits, I want to talk about the rabbits, because that's like, that's one thing a lot of people have been like trying to talk about and bring up is I think my view on it is those are the people that have been like locked up or whatever, and then I I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong because I don't really remember it. But after this whole apocalypse breaks loose, when Lupita Nyong'o's character Adelaide goes down, there are barely any rabbits around, but beforehand they're all locked up, and while they were locked up, everybody else was like kind of roaming that area. It's kind of cool actually, the thought around that. But yeah, the performances are great. Lupita Nyong'o is probably the best.
Amazing.
Everybody.
Oh my god, she's
incredible.
amazing.
I am not looking forward to her getting snubbed next Oscars.
But she probably will because of the ableist comments or whatever that everybody said.
Well, that didn't stop Alfonso.
Well, that didn't get as big as what's happening with Lupita. I wonder what the people behind Hands Across America feel about this movie. Well, they're probably. But this is great marketing for Hands Across America.
Not really.
I mean, like.
It's using it as a murder.
No, it isn't really. I mean, it's just like.
I'm not even too familiar with Hands Across America, honestly.
It's just more so just like they just take from it, I guess so.
I mean, negative publicity is still publicity, so.
Yeah, that's right.
Either way. But I think Jordan Peele knew that going into it, so.
Yes, final verdict of Us, it is a masterpiece, 10 out of 10.
Alright, I guess I can go next?
Yeah.
Sure, why not?
Okay, so Us, I really liked it. I liked it a lot more than Get Out. I like that it was less politically charged than Get Out. Like, it just threw politics out the window and just went through a full-on horror movie. Like, that's part of the reason. Like, I mean, I enjoyed Get Out, and like that's part of the thing that was kind of holding Get Out back was the politics. And Us kind of just threw all that out the window, just focused on being a horror movie. And I really like that aspect about it. I mean, obviously there's still politics in there, but you know, other than that, Lupita Nyong'o is amazing, of course. She's just perfect in this film, and all the performances are great. Even the child actors are really great.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, the cinematography is amazing. The score is awesome. You know, the editing and sound are really great. There's a lot of really great twists in the movie. Like, this is a spoiler discussion. Like when it turns out that the White family has doubles too, that got me. That got me.
Well, I mean, it seems like everyone in this movie has doubles in general.
Well, yeah, but that was the part where it was like, I did not see that coming at all. You know, and then there's the whole thing about.
Like, I somewhat knew that was coming.
Because it showed it in the trailer.
Wait, did they?
Yeah, it showed Elizabeth Moss having scissors to her head when she's like cutting her face off or whatever.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that part of the trailer, so I didn't see that trailer, so. I thought it was really good. If I were to point, I don't really have a whole lot to say about it because everything I could possibly say about it, everyone else has already said. I love the ending to the movie. I didn't see that coming at all.
That final shot is literally my favorite final shot.
Oh my god.
That final shot is perfect. I mean, like maybe the ending was a little predictable, but I didn't care that much because it was so well done. And if I were to point out any problems with the movie, it's just a few minor nitpicks, like, you know, like the opening shot of the television tells you everything you need to know, tells you everything you need to know about the time period and where it's at, and then the title card just comes up and it's like it's telling you the exact same thing, and I'm like, okay, that's not necessary. But that's just a small nitpick.
Not really. It kind of showed it's more of a foreshadowing.
Yeah.
And it goes into
No. What I mean is the title card was redundant because we got all that information in the opening shot with the television. That's what I was talking about. And there are some few minor pacing issues I have with the film. I thought there were some parts that dragged a little bit.
I thought it was perfect.
And then I'm not sure if I could think of anything else. Maybe a few parts of the humor didn't work that well.
The humor is more just.
It's more subtle.
It's trying to keep
Yeah, it's more subtle, but it's more subtle, but there were parts where it was just like, I don't know how well that works.
It depends on your humor.
No, it's not that it's like not my sense of humor. I laughed in the movie, but I'm just saying it's like, I don't know. There are some parts where it felt out of place. No, that didn't really happen for the most part. It was just just a few times. Other than that, I really enjoyed us. Oh yeah, there's a couple exposition dump scenes that could have been told a little bit better, but it was well done anyway. So I didn't knock off too many points for that. Anyway, yeah, really like us. 9 out of 10, closer to an 8 than a 10 though.
Okay, so my thoughts on Us, it's fucking fantastic. I loved it. I Wow, it lived up. I love Jordan Peele. I think he's doing an excellent job with this horror film. Honestly, I would see what he has coming up next. I'll start watching The Twilight Zone because the first episode got up on YouTube, so I gotta watch it soon. Yeah, I love Jordan Peele both as a comedian and as a serious director. I'm a huge Peele fan, so seeing him go this route is very interesting to say the least, and I love where he's going. What else? The movie itself. I love it's insanely smart, and I love how you can base. Well, I mean, that's not like a normie, but I love how everything in the movie is able to be interpreted any way you think it. So there's an explanation to everything. Like, in fact, when the twist of the fact that Lupita Nyong'o's character was just a blood the entire time, I was like, okay, how in the hell would that make sense? Like, I mean, like, she could talk normally, she's his own. And then I thought more about it, and what I thought about kind of makes a little bit of sense. Like, it's like she learned how to be more of a human when she got out there from her parents and stuff. Because the parents were like, okay, didn't the parents in the movie say like, okay, we're gonna try and parent her better now that she's out? You know what I mean? And she won't talk.
Not the dad. The dad was more just like, I need to smoke and.
Well, but yeah, the dad was irresponsible, but I meant more like the mother. Like they wanted to teach her better like that.
Yeah, learn how to dance. Dancing. That's what.
So I think it's a good explanation for it. And I don't know, there's a lot of ways to interpret every little thing that happens in it. It's very hard to comprehend. It's insanely well shot. It's insanely well written. It does everything that it's doing insanely well. It's a movie that, at its weakest, it's still an insanely fun horror movie, and at its best, it's insanely smart and brilliant. Look at just basically what it's trying to do. It has a great message on class, even though it doesn't. It's not blatant. It's just more so. It's like you notice the message on class when you look more into it. And there's a lot of love to it. And I know what I say a little about is going to make me sound like a normie, but I don't care. I loved Us even more than Get Out. I really love Get Out, but the only problem I had was the directing of it. Kind of, you could tell it was a first movie. Like some of the filmmaking of it, maybe you could definitely tell. I'm not saying it's bad, quite like directed, but it still felt somewhat weak. Like you could definitely tell it was the first one. But the directing in Us is way more improved, and has a lot of amazing directing, a lot of great shots. Et cetera. This very great movie in general. Lots of really great twists and turns. I loved the cinematography. I loved all the scenes. I loved the score, the performances. Lupita Nyong'o was amazing, and Winston Duke is a good actor. I loved him as Mbaku, and I loved him this as well. The kid actors were surprisingly great. The girl who played the younger version of Lupita Nyong'o's character was great as well. Yeah, it's an insanely well-written movie, and it does everything so well. It does a lot of things I love seeing movies like this. It's hard to explain, because I guess maybe more of the reasons more what I love those movies is I guess more so personal, but in terms of just, I love seeing well-written horror movies. I love seeing brilliant concepts, brilliantly executed. This is that movie I want to make if I become a filmmaker. If I become a filmmaker, this is that movie that I want to make. Brilliant concepts with, tons of ways to explain it. Yeah. It's just a brilliant movie. Well, at least, yeah. If I had to think of something it was, I can't really think of many. Maybe it did slow down a bit at parts. I don't know.
When it slowed down, I think that was the perfect time to slow it down because there was so much going on at once that you need some time to kind of get stuff together.
I guess so. I don't know, maybe some of the comedies intertwine well enough with maybe some of the hormone elements. I mean, not to say the movie was torn all over the place. Maybe, but there probably were a couple points where maybe some of the comedy wasn't able to mix well enough. I guess maybe, which I don't know. It didn't bother me too much, but it was something to point out. Other than that, I didn't really have that many other flaws with it. It's a really, really great movie. It's really cool. Yeah, I don't know. I really love it. I know I'm doing a pretty shit job explaining why I loved it, but I really love it, and I love Jordan Peele. It's my favorite movie he's directed so far on too. I can see who's got coming up next. Yes. So what's new in movie land? Have any good trailers came out?
If you just smile.
Oh, what are your thoughts on the Joker trailer?
I haven't seen the Joker trailer yet.
The Joker trailer is wonderful.
I am genuinely hyped.
I've seen some shots from it. I've seen some shots from the trailer that look pretty cool.
I have not been this hyped for a mainstream superhero movie in so long.
I think Joaquin's gonna be really good.
I love where they're going with it.
Apparently it seems like it's gonna be kind of like a Martin Scorsese movie.
Even though he's not producing it, like we thought he was going to.
Well, yeah, but it seems inspired by what I mean. You know, like Taxi Driver and that kind of stuff. King of Comedy.
And Robert De Niro is even going to be in it, even though we only saw one shot in the trailer. I wonder how long he's going to be in the movie. I didn't see Zaz Beats that much in the trailer, more than like one shot. Brian Tyree Henry's apparently a who I love. He's an amazing actor.
Oh yeah, Brian Tyree Henry's pretty great.
Yeah.
I love the cinematography and directing it. I love this movie. It looks like it's going to be different from your typical mainstream.
Brian, what would you do if you found out that?
I am sick of the typical superhero movie mold. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it.
We've talked about that enough with Captain Marvel.
No, I meant like more so just like I am sick of that. And I love when movies like this that look like they're just going to try something a bit more different.
Yeah.
At least in terms of presentation. And I can't see where they're going with this. I think it's as great as it looks. Even if it's that, I'm sure Joaquin Phoenix will be terrific in it. And this is probably the first Todd Phillips movie that I really like.
Anyone want to talk about the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood trailer?
Oh, yes. I am also...
That trailer is pretty awesome.
That trailer is awesome. It's only 1 minute and 30 seconds long, but it gives you everything. It tells you that's directed by Quentin Tarantino, solve the name for the general audience, definitely. And then it gives you a couple really awesome looking scenes and some really great cinematography shots.
Leo DiCaprio, Margot Robbie, and Brad Pitt all look really great.
It just gives you enough scenes. It's not overlong like your typical trailer. It gives you enough scenes and it gives you enough in the trailer in order to let you. Which, I mean, yeah, it's a teaser, so I guess maybe that's the point. At the same time, I don't think teasers show as much as this trailer shows. So I wish this was the only trailer. This should be the only trailer.
Apparently, it's premiering. Apparently, it's going to premiere at Cannes. So.
Yeah, hell yeah. I am hyped for this movie. Yeah. I don't know. It's just I love movies.
It's going to be awesome.
I love Quentin Tarantino. I'm assuming this movie's probably going to get some Oscar buzz.
Oh, most definitely. Well, then
again, it's coming out in July, so that's a bit...
Black Klansman was a summer release.
Well, it came out in August. Well, actually, that's not an excuse, so yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely possible, and I'm looking forward to see if it does. It's a movie about Hollywood, so that's likely done.
Yeah, that's pretty... Yeah. I think it's probably going to win original screenplay. Not Best Picture, though. Best Picture, I think, is going to be The Irishman.
Or Rocket Man.
Rocket Man, I think.
I get it, but I hope it does, even though I haven't seen
I don't know. Rocket Man seems like best actor material.
Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna win for Taron.
Well, no, he's gonna get nominated. That's for sure. I think Robert De Niro is probably gonna win though.
Okay. What do you think of the trailer, Adam?
I love it. It shows you basically the main idea of what you need. Of course, without context, which honestly I like a bit more because you know.
Once upon a time in Hollywood, no context.
Yeah, it's like without any of this, without you knowing any of it, and you're just going into it blind, and you don't really know much about the Manson murders, then you'll be in for a treat. God,
Wow. Even
like,
though,
like that.
yeah, Sharon Tate, the wife of Roman Polanski.
By the way, apparently he's gonna be a character in the movie.
Yeah.
He kind of has to be.
Worried as yeah, he has to be. But I am worried as hell. He's apparently trying to turn. Yeah, well, not apparently. I know this.
Didn't this take place before his allegations?
So, because I mean, the Manson murders happened before the incident.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. So I don't think there's anything in there.
Do you think they're gonna portray him positively, or do you think they're gonna still portray him as like, okay, this was not a good guy? Because Quentin Tarantino.
I don't know. I think
this is still.
I have a feeling it's going to be kind of neutral.
Do you think he's still portraying Polanski?
I honestly have no clue.
Actually, but also the more I think about it, at the same time, was Roman Polanski that bad of a guy before he raped a kid?
I'm not sure.
I mean, like, who knows? I'm not saying he's good. He's a horrible human being.
Obviously. Oh, yeah.
I don't think anyone is real. But I'm mainly talking about, like, before the rape. Do you think he did anything that bad? So I guess maybe portraying him, just be accurate. It doesn't matter if it's positive.
I have a feeling it's just going to be a neutral portrayal. I don't even think he's going to be in the movie very long.
I saw an article headline that says he's apparently going to be a prominent character, which, I mean, that makes sense, because, I mean, sure.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, it makes sense, but I don't know. I don't think he'll be in it very long.
Yeah.
I think it'll be kind of like Sam Rockwell in Vice.
Yeah, I wish I could feel bad for.
And then whoever plays Roman Polanski is gonna get Oscar nominated for being in it for 15 minutes. Anyway, this is a bit of an old.
You guys want to talk about the new Rocket Man trailer? Briefly.
I mean,
I haven't seen it yet.
it looks cool.
I think it looks terrific.
It looks cool.
I hope it's better for it.
It'll be better Bohemian Rhapsody for sure.
Yeah.
I think it looks cool. I'll definitely go check it out. Like, I like Elton John. My mom loves Elton John. Like, she wants to see this
I love
movie.
Elton John too. Like, my three main things for music: Queen, Elton John, David Bowie.
Oh yeah, David Bowie is my favorite.
And Stu Ginn. And Bob Dylan.
And also the Beatles. The Beatles is like my favorite group.
And Post Malone.
Oh yeah, Kendrick Lamar.
And Kendrick as well.
Oh yeah, Bo Burnham.
Yeah. Bo Burnham, definitely. Okay, so yeah, I'm a huge Elton John fan. I love where they're going with Rocket Man.
Yeah,
I love how they're taking a more fantastical approach. I love how it seems like it's gonna do everything insanely right. I'm hoping
it feels like it's gonna be like the La La Land of biopics, where it's just it seems a lot like La La Land. Which I'm completely fine with because I adore La La Land.
Here's the thing. I know for a fact they're going to betray Elton John. I know people are worried about that because it's around at the same time. Elton John's alive and well and approved the movie.
He's producing the movie.
Oh yeah, he's also producing it. The real thing is that like the movie from the trailer, it doesn't seem to be holding back on that Elton John was a bit problematic in some ways. Like I mean, he did have a drug addiction.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like it's going to be pulling a Bohemian Rhapsody where they water down the story just to make it more cookie cutter, safe, PG-13 bullshit.
Yeah, this movie it's going to portray Elton John accurately, whether that's positive or negative. They're just going to portray him as he was. They're not going to make him look like a better person, even though he probably maybe some problematic stuff. like he was on drugs and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And Elton John first the movie, so I'm assuming because Elton John is a nice guy. Well,
Yeah, he thinks very highly of himself. That's for sure.
He seems very much like the type of person who would like I can just imagine him.
Plus,
saying,
well, I imagine he's trying to redeem himself after Kingsman 2, but.
Well, yeah, I can just imagine him saying just portray me with as honest as possible, and if you're gonna include any bad shit I've done in my life, just go ahead and do it. I don't I want to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elton John's that person who I'm sure would let that happen. And I'm glad for that.
From what I've seen, he's
At least, and also this movie is not being directed by a pedophile, so that's a plus.
And it's most likely going to be rated R, so I'm glad they're not going to water it the fuck down.
This is a bit of an old trailer, but the Irishman teaser looks.
Yeah, it looks good.
Looks pretty great.
They barely showed anything.
But I think that's enough to kind of get me hooked. Plus, I mean, I was already hooked to begin with, but you know.
I'm just saying, definitely.
Yeah, and we got it during. It's just so unfortunate that we got it during such a really shitty award show.
I was really worried about The Irishman first because of the fact how it was originally, it seemed like it was originally going to go for years, and then it just got pushed to Netflix.
Netflix bought it.
This was fresh after the Cloverfield Paradox. I was like, oh, fuck. We're in for a shit show.
Well, that was J.J. Abrams who did Cloverfield Paradox. It's like 10 Cloverfield Lane. Was it supposed to be a Cloverfield movie? It was supposed to be called like The Cellar or something.
Yeah.
But then J.J. Abrams just stepped in and fucked it all up. God Particle was 10 Cloverfield Lane was a great movie before that, and then God Particle was just it was fine. And then he just.
Cloverfield Lane wasn't supposed to be a Cloverfield movie either. It was going to be called like The Cellar or something.
That's what I just said.
I did.
Yeah, I swear to God, I just said it.
Whatever, who cares?
Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna hop off.
Alright.
See you then, Adam.
Alright, see you, Adam. Yeah.
Glad I could be on here for the first time in a while.
Yep, and, so,
Fault team.
Yeah.
Fault
So,
team.
yep.
Fault team.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, I'm just disappointed that. Go ahead.
Before Roma. So I didn't know that Netflix could be able to make creative content.
Well, Roma. There are good Netflix movies out there, other than Roma.
I was just an idiot back then. I was worried that any movie that seemed like it was going to go to theaters and then it got put to Netflix. I was worried that any movie that was set for that was going to be a disaster, which is what The Irishman seemed to be in terms of how it just got put to Netflix.
Well, so Martin Scorsese is such a legendary director that they're going to be like, yeah, I don't give a shit, just do whatever you want. You know, like Ryan Coogler with Black Panther.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, essentially, yeah.
I'm just upset that we got it during such a shitty award show.
Yes, I get it. You already said that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you want to just,
Nah, it's dated. Who cares anymore?
Who gives a fuck? Okay. So, I just want to close out this podcast, I just want to kind of talk about the whole, how Disney has just, I want to talk more about why I hate Disney. And this is the biggest reason why I hate them, is because they have just George Lucas their own films. And it's like how with The Lion King, apparently some animator hid the word sex in the sky or something, when Simba lays down on the ground, a bunch of dust flew out of the sky. It kind of looks like sex, and then Disney just went in and threw more dust over it, basically changing the original film. And Fantasia, there's this 7 or 8 minute clip on YouTube of these comparison shots between where there was this incredibly racist caricature in the original Fantasia, and Disney just took it out entirely. Is pretending as if it doesn't exist, and I'm like, well, don't pretend that it doesn't exist, because that's even more racist than actually having the caricature in there. At least in my opinion, it's more racist. And there's also it's objectionable content. It's historical. And Warner Brothers did this thing. If you buy the Looney Tunes Platinum Collection, you know, they'll have a message before the main menu pops up, where it's like, hey, listen, there's objectionable content in here that's a product of its time. It doesn't reflect the reviews currently, but it would be a worse crime to pretend that none of this happened than to actually portray these racist caricatures. At the very least, have an option to present the original film on the DVD or Blu-ray. At least have that.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it. It's one of the reasons I hate. Another huge reason I hate Disney is that they're responsible for a lot of the mess that YouTubers are in for like copyright and stuff. Yet despite the fact that a lot of their properties were public domain to begin with, like Snow White. That was like public domain. So Disney's just being hypocrites and stuff. And I'm like, and now Disney is buying everything. Like eventually Disney's going to be the only film company left. It's going to be like Brave New World, where it's like, it's just this autocracy where everything that people buy is Disney. Like, people buy a whole bunch of stuff and it's all Disney. It's all manufactured by Disney. It's just gonna be like 1984, Brave New World, and all that stuff.
Fahrenheit 451.
Yeah, Fahrenheit 451, exactly. It's like literally everything is Disney now. They're such a slimy fucking company. They're literally too big to fail too. So it's like, how are we gonna take them down? We're just gonna have to do it like Fight Club.
They're disgusting. Okay, so thanks so much for tuning in. We can't wait to see you next time. Like I said, we'll probably do it on Shazam maybe, and maybe a couple other topics. And the next podcast after that will be for sure about Endgame. So,
Alright.
Yep. Thanks so much for tuning in. We love you all. Thank you for
Actually
support.
stayed awake the entire time.
Yeah, I'm shocked. Anyway, I'm Brian. Keep eating that pussy.
And I'm George, and go out and buy yourself some Minecraft Monopoly.